Oh, hi there. Dinner with Sandy. Again, thank you for joining me. I have just a couple of things I wanted to put together because I had extra things in the fridge. You know how you have a half a jar of this, half a jar of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So one of my favorite foods is salsa. And on one of these videos I'm going to show you how to make a homemade salsa, which means that you probably never have to buy salsa again. It's so good, and you can can your own. And it may sound like a lot of work, but if you have the right equipment, it's not. Anyway, so I have a jar of black bean and corn salsa, half a jar. I really want to use this. And then I'm trying not to do a lot of pasta because it's so good, it just kind of takes you down that rabbit hole. I'm going to do a little bit of pasta. So I have a small saucepan, 1/2 quart saucepan. And I've got some peppers. Now, I don't know if you followed me earlier, but I had all these peppers on one of my Facebook Live things. And what I did when I went in my garden is when I planted my garden, I did not make proper notes of what I was planting because I had banana peppers, but some were hot and some were sweet. I cannot tell by looking at them, so I have to bite them. So the one I bit is a sweet one. And I have a little bit of a hot one. So I'm going to have a little bit of both. Now, when you're cutting peppers, I learned knife skills are very important. And I learned a lot about knives in my career with Saladmaster. Only recently with Rick Perkins, actually. I was at the Taste of Toronto, that's what it was. And I learned about how the spine has to be smooth, not harsh. Because when you hold a knife like this, if it's harsh, it cuts in and you get a callus. It's not comfortable. It's like having a blister in your shoe. So I love the Rhineland knives. And then also heard that you hold your fingers like this and you keep your knuckle against the knife and you rock into it through. Now, the macrobiotic people use knives a lot because the energy flows into the food, through the food. Sorry, I gotta watch my posture here and get my power zone. It's not the ideal filming kitchen because I'm a little too tall for the camera, because if I stand up, oh, it's not too bad today, but last time I did this, I just went out of the picture. Okay. And of course your skill sets, your comfort level. And sometimes you cut off the bits at the end. There's still a lot of goodness in there. Call me crazy, but life is too short to waste food, especially organic, and especially if you grow it. Like, why would you do all that work and throw half of it out? That never made sense to me. So I'm not a fan. I know I waste other areas of my life, and I'm working on that. But anyway. And then if you want to chop, pull like this. So some knives have a better rocking on. This is a Santoku knife. This is a popular blade, and you would believe all the different things in knives that you wouldn't know about until you stop and ask questions and learn from somebody about different knives. So I'm gonna put those in the bottom. They're gonna be nice. And when I crank the heat on this cooking system, they're roasted in the bottom and caramelized. Because I don't have an oven, normally you would put those in the oven and caramelize them. I don't have an oven, okay? And so I just kind of dump food in. Here's my pasta, raw pasta. And my salsa is kind of stiff. I'm going to add a little bit of red wine or water. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put the pasta in first, and then I'm going to rinse the jar of sauce out. Because Mom always said, you got to clean the jar. So that could be water, white wine, or red wine. Give it a rinse. Okay, and that's pretty much it. You might take a fork and make sure all the pasta is covered. And that's kind of it. I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to put it on medium heat. When the cooker talks to me, I know it's at the ultimate perfect temperature to prepare the food. I'm going to turn the heat down to low. It's going to create a vacuum and go and suck the heat in from the top down, the sides in, and the bottom up into the middle to perfection, so I don't have to do any more work than that. So medium, click, low, and go do something else. And that's dinner. And if you want to put, cheese. If you want to put a bit of cheese, fake cheese, real cheese, whatever, you do so. A little tip here. Hang on. Okay. So, have you ever had cheese go moldy? I have. What I've learned over the years is that it's the entrapment of moisture with air, I think. This is my take on things. You know how you go to Costco and you get this big block of Parmigiano and it's aged? It's dry aged with dry. That means air, dry air, not moist air, dry air. So when you buy a big thing of cheese and you cut it, don't cover it. Let the air dry it out like air chilled. It does go dark, okay, but it doesn't go moldy, and it gets hard like Parmigiano. And you get the flavor, it starts to dry out. It's exactly what it does, and that's why you pay more for dried food and dried cheese than you do for moist and wet cheese, because you're paying for water weight. So that's why dry aged anything or dehydrated costs more per pound, because they've taken in consideration that they've taken the water out, because water is cheap. Do you know that Nestle gets charged like $3.95 per like million gallons of water? And we buy it for $1.50 for 500 mils. That's a 2,000% markup. Who's the fool? Now we got to kick Nestle out. We got to reclaim our water in Canada, because that's our oil. Don't forget that. Anyway, when it translates into food, you're buying food per pound. So if you don't shrink the food down, you're maintaining not only more moisture for this body, but also for your pocketbook, because that's money. We're buying food per pound, we're paying more money per pound. And we bring it home and we shrink it down and we throw out money, really. So anyway, I'm using the #1 cone, which is the finest grater. The nice thing is, if you have great flavor in here, you don't need a lot of dairy. And as much as addictive, as gorgeous as it is pure fat. Yeah, there's some goodness in there too, but it is pretty high calorie. So, and it's got some very powerful hormones in there. So limit your dairy. This could be tofu, it could be the fake cheese, or the non-cheese, or cashew. Cashew cheese. There's so many different variations that you can have, because really all we want is flavor, right? We want flavor and texture. Do you really care if it came from a cow? No. Like, we all want to be humane. But anyway, that's my little sermon for today. So, that is going to be a salsa pasta with cheese on top. Rather than put it in the oven, because I don't have an oven, because you could actually take the handle off, be an oven. I'm just going to put that on the stove, medium heat, when it talks to me. I'm going to turn it down to low, and it's going to be done in probably 15 minutes, but I'm going to leave it for tomorrow because it's late right now, but that's my dinner for tomorrow. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you picked up a few tips, and if you have any requests, feel free to message me, give me a challenge and say, how would you make this? How would you Saladmasterize this? That just means healthy gourmet shortcuts in layman's terms. So thanks again for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.